First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Rakak, Radashim, double honors to the apostles of the great millstone that have taught us this truth, and to include the elder bishops on down, and Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Barakatham, to the overall elect. And overall, Lord willing, this article and many other things that I go into, and as well as very well this video is going to be edifying indeed. And once again, it's your brother Laban. So may the Lord guide me to bring some edification in this. And so we will begin as this reads. What war of Iran could mean for markets Monday. Bloomberg micro-strategist Michael Ball warned that President Trump's urging of Iranians to overthrow the government gives Saturday's U.S. and Israeli strike on Iran the potential to usher in a more prolonged higher volatility era rather than being a one-off tradable shock. Traders will be closely watching for updates on crude production and shipping disruption, and any spike in oil will move across global rates and FX and eventually weigh on in equities. But Trump post-strikes comment makes it harder for markets to assume this is one and done. A limited strike would likely see the unusual pattern. Crude and gold spike, equities wobble. Then volatility compresses if production is unaffected, and Strait of Hormuz flows keeps moving, leading the risk premiums to ebbs quickly. But a longer-term campaign framed around leadership removal is different. It will stretch the uncertainty window, raise the probability of wider tail risk outcomes, keep oil prices elevated, and volatility high, and force broader risk premiums to reflect a more uncertain growth and inflation backdrop. And so that's all I'm going to read from there. So if this thing continues to go forward, you will have way more than just oil to worry about. And just to mention, oil is an essential rudiment that is needed so that you can go to work and those trucks can deliver your food to your stores and many of the things that you go and buy. So if oil is sparse, now you're going to have chaos. You're going to have a contraction of the economy, and the economy isn't going to be functioning properly anymore due to the price of gas and diesel. All right. So this war of Iran could very well cripple the economy, especially in the West in this case, which is where the focus is at. Yeah, we got to focus on the East because that's where everything's going to pretty much begin to pretty much get out of control, where it concerns this nuclear war amongst these nations, right? But when we look at in-house, especially in America, this could really bring a lot of trouble. And not just America, but just in various places in the Western world. All right. And I'm going to get into those things as well. We're going to get into all of that. And I want to begin by reading, Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 1. So as this reads, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. And while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. And we all came in this truth when we were young men. Some of us came in this truth in our teens. I came in when I was like maybe 18, 19 years old. Some younger, 16, 15, what have you. Most of us came in our 20s. Some of us came in our 30s and 40s and what have you, right? Which were old enough, but that's just the majority of us. A lot of us came when we were young men. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinder cease, because they are few, And those that look out of the windows be darkened. And those that look out of the windows are they that basically don't see a future for the society. Especially when you look at the state of affairs of young people. If young people are looking shattered because they're trying to apply for basic jobs and it's difficult for them to apply for these basic jobs, let alone get the jobs that they desire. Because, young people hold in high regard their dreams and their aspirations and stuff like that, especially if you're in your early 20s or in your late teens. So again, when you see the look on their faces very well tells you that there ain't no future for this world, because the young people represent the future. Okay? So that's what it means. And those that look out of the windows be darkened, meaning they that look at the window, out of the windows that be darkened, meaning that there's no future. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, meaning there's going to be no jobs. And this is the time we're in right now. And he shall rise up at the voice of the birds, and all of the daughters of music shall be brought low. And the music is shit right now. Any artist that comes out right now, they're coming with bullshit ass music. It's so bad now that you gotta listen to the old shit. You can't listen to this new stuff because there's no meaning, there's no soul. There ain't nothing to it. It's just the same old crap, and the auto-tune sound and all that stuff, which I remember T-Pain, he came out with that. Now everybody's doing the auto-tune thing, and it's just more techno. It's just got more of a tech sound than a natural musical sound to it. There's no soul in the music no more. Like right now, you could listen to a song and it don't give you no chill bumps. It don't give you no sense of feeling or anything. All right? It's just trash. So that's the time we're in right now. But when you look at society overall, it's like, for example, when you watch a film, and let's just say in the film, something bad is going to go down in the film. The music, the right kind of music has to play. So that's what's happening. Being that society is at an all-time low, guess what? Music is going to be at an all-time low the same way to reflect the state of affairs of society. All right, which is a beautiful thing because it lets us know that we're at the end of Esau's route. Case in point, we know that the world is at war. We're in a third world's war. And so therefore, we're closing into the very end. The only thing that we need, the final nail in the coffin, is that chip. And somewhere down the line, we might end up bearing witness to a T attack that could bring the chip. We'll have to wait and see, though. All right. So I want to go down here and I want to read some more because I was looking at this too. Most of the U.S. woke up today to news that the U.S. and Israel have started major combat operations and a broad military campaign against targets across Iran. Also, it looks like we have an answer about the mystery spy put by us and the super aggressive gold and silver core buys into the close last week. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm not an expert, and I just know the very few things that I know that I can give. All right. So I want to continue to read on as this reads. Someone was obviously in the know that full-scale military action involving Iran was about to kick off Friday night and was positioning ahead of it. Anyone who tells you the options market can't telegraph news or hint at where the market is headed isn't paying attention. Order flows doesn't predict everything, but sometimes it's obviously signals that something big is coming, and that's to be taken into consideration at times too. Because if you see gold and silver spiking up out of nowhere, then yeah, you gotta be circumspect. Maybe something is about to be had. And so now here we have it in the time that we're in right now. And why is it now all of a sudden? I don't mean to change the topic, but why is it now all of a sudden in the month of March, especially in the beginning of March, right? It started in late February, heading into the 1st of March, the 28th of February, this war with Iran. Because the thing with Esau, to a degree, Esau still believes in these gods, right? And the month of March goes back to Mars, which is the god of war, which is a Greek god that the Romans used to worship, and which is to be expected. This is a revival version of Rome, isn't it? So they're going to apply their level of belief to these false gods. So yeah, Mars is basically, as this reads over here, the month of March is named after the Roman god of war, Mars. While Mars is the Roman counterpart of the Greek god Ares, that's where you get the word Ares from. The two differ significantly in character. Mars was respected protector of Rome and agriculture, whereas Ares or Ares was often viewed with contempt in Greek mythology for this unbridled violence. Yeah, so the point is that Mars is the god of war, which is where you get the month of March from. So it's not a significance that all of this started in the month of March, showing you that this is basically all been planned to happen. Everything that's being had is not happened by random, but it's been planned to happen. And yeah, we can't just give men the credit. We got to give the Most High the credit, because he put the knowledge in man. He put the knowledge in man to plan all of this out to begin with. Sirach 11 and verse 14. Prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of the Lord. Absolutely. So now we're going to read, we're going to tie this in with this over here. Psalm 75 and verse 6. For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. But the Most High is the judge, and he putteth down one and setteth up another. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now, as we are right now, whether you understand that or not. We're in a transitional phase from one kingdom to the next kingdom. Now, as well as we will always say, is that Russia and China, they're not going to be the next to be in the position of supremacy. Oh no. The next in supremacy is going to be the Israelites. We are going to be the next in power. Okay? And I know that's far-fetched, and that's out of one's comprehension. I can understand that because of how we looking out here. But it don't really matter how we looking out here. At the end of the day, prophecy tells that we're going to be the ones in the position of power, ruling over all of these other nations. Okay? So how would that be done? Well, most of these nations would be in league with America, one way or the other, which they are. So if America goes down to nothing, which is why certain nations were very wealthy to begin with as a result of America, where do you think else is going to happen? They're going to lose their prosperity too. I want to read this over here, and I want to get to the point. In the book of Revelations, we can begin by reading verse 10, but the point is in verse 11. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. So there you have it. So all of this stuff that they were exporting to America and making bank off of America will be no more, because America's going to go belly up in the flames after the nukes get done with her. That's the reason why these other nations are going to be upset. So all of that business and all of that wealth and economic stride they had is going to go to nothing as well. All right. So that's how all of these nations are going to go down with this so-called white man. Let's begin with the Saudi Arabians for the most part. Let's talk about them. The Chinese. Those are the two which comes to my mind right now. Even the Japanese, they sell their cars to them, don't they? Right? So, and not only just do they sell their cars, but they make video games for, Americans and what have you. And America is like the biggest commercial country in the world. You got a good percentage doing business with America. Listen, you are in the fucking money, man. Okay? So there you go. So when America is no more, then the gravy train is no more with all of these other nations. But right now, these nations are acting proudly their pride is allowing them to not see what they're doing really. You understand? So when this war is being had, they're not going to think about the damage that's going to be caused when they destroy America. Because when they destroy America, they're going to also destroy themselves too. They're going to go down. So when all of these nations go down with America, who's going to be up above all of these nations? We are. That's what the Lord is setting up, man. So I'm going to get to this later on. I want to read this as well, right? I think I've already read this already, right? Matter of fact, no, I need to finish this. For in the hand of the Lord there is a cup, and the wine is red, and it is full of mixture, and he poureth out of the same. But the dregs thereof, all of the wicked of the earth, shall wring them out and drink them. Exactly. So who are the wicked of the earth? The Edomites are. So the Edomites, they're going to partake onto the curses that we had partaken into. So from the surface, even onto the depth of the curses, they're going to have the experience. All right. Even onto the dregs. The dregs represents the depth of the curses. All right. And I will declare forever, I will sing praises to the power of Jacob, and all of the horns of the wicked also will I cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be exalted. Exactly. So that's who's going to be next in power. The term horn is symbolizing to that of power. All right. Like, for example, if you look at a rhinoceros, the power of the rhinoceros is its horn. Same thing with an elephant, a ram. Okay, you get the gist of what I'm talking about. So that's the thing. So the horn of the righteous will be exalted, and when we're exalted, we're going to be exalted forever. And I mean, we can even include the nations as being the wicked too. But the wicked of the earth, as well as is written, we got to get this right now, are the Edomites, as well as that's written in the book of Malachi 1. They're going to partake of the curses greatly. That's what that goes into. So now, let's even go into this too, because there's a point that I think I've made earlier in this video, and I'm going to make this point again a little bit more in depth. So as this reads over here, war in Iran could lead to a guaranteed global recession because of one choke point that is crucial to the world's economy. On Sunday, a day after the U.S. and Israeli force began raining missiles across Iran, an oil tanker docked of the coast of Oman burst into flames. The same day, maritime tracking organizations announced tankers were targeted by more projectiles in the water north of the Arabian Peninsula. Expert says these attacks are opening up a front of war that could have massive repercussions. A large portion of the world's energy supply traverses these waters. And for each day attacks happen and fewer ships take the risk of navigating there, the world gets a little bit closer to an economic crisis. Oman sits at the bottom of the Strait of Hormuz, a key maritime traffic route that links countries in the Persian Gulf like Iran to the rest of the world. On normal days, around 20 million barrels of oil, or approximately 20% of the world's liquid petroleum, passes through the strait, which is less than 30 miles across its narrowest point. In a moment of regional instability, the seafaring passageway can quickly turn into a strategic choke point, and its effects are already rippling out on a global scale. Renewed conflict in Iran and the regime reprisal attacks across the Middle East have thrust the strait back to the center of recession fears, as analysis warn that even a partial or prolonged disruption of petroleum supply could shock the world's economy into traction. Why is that? Yet again, if oil is too pricey, then you don't have a business. You don't have an empire. Because now everybody can't go to work. Now your truck drivers can't supply goods anymore to take up for the paying up of gas and diesel. Now the prices of your goods got to go up, which leads to my next article that I'm going to read. So let me finish this article now. Now, with the weekend's attack, experts are warning that triple digits crude oil prices could be the least of the world's concern if the Strait stays shut down long enough. It could amount to an assured hit for the global economy. Exactly. So just like I was saying, this is what's going to cause food to go up. Now, I'm reading from RTE, which is based in Ireland, right? RTE.ie. So this ain't going to just happen in Ireland. This is going to happen also in other places around the West as well. Primarily, of course, in America too. Okay, if gas is going up, if you thought that the price of good was kicking your ass enough, you ain't seen nothing yet. So this is going to lead to chaos, and this could very well lead to an economic crisis, to a point of an economic global crash too. All right. Again, this has all been planned, because ESO got to get the ball rolling with the one world system, a new world order they call it, right? Also known as the World Economic Forum claimed this term, the Great Reset, which is just another way of saying a new world order. So before they get the new world order going, we know that they're going to have to destroy the old one. And this is where we at right now. All right. But what they don't realize is that the new world order is going to begin with the saints. That's the actual new world order. Now, let's get into this over here. Iran war could lead to higher food prices, says economist. Irish consumers could see the price of food products on shelves increase due to a shortage of fertilizer coming through the Strait of Hormuz. An economist of Technological University Dublin has said the Strait of Hormuz was declared closed as a result of the Iranian conflict, effectively stopping 20% of global oil and gas supplies. Speaking on RTE's Morning Island, Dr. Emma Howard said that the reduction of oil coming through the Strait of Hormuz will affect supply, and that alone will result in higher prices. So that's all we got to read right there. That's just the point. So it's going to affect your food so that they can pay for gas and the diesel. Okay? Primarily diesel, excuse me, because your trucks deliver your goods to the stores. Okay, so that's the thing. This is what we got to expect later on. Don't just expect gas to go up. Expect everything to go up. The food to go up. Primarily. So this war in Iran, that little place in the east, if this keeps going and going, it's just going to make matters even worse with inflation. And that's all I got to say with this over here. With that, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rikah HaKodash, and double honors to the elder apostles. And before I even leave, I also want to read this again. Ecclesiastes 12 verse 3, because I forgot to mention a couple of things as well that I will mention now. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinder cease, because they are few, and those that look out of the window be darkened. So the keepers of the house are your economists. Case in point, there's people that I find to be very good. You have Peter Schiff, which Peter Schiff originally, he's a stockbroker, but he specializes in the economy side of things as well. And this guy, Richard Wolff. Those are just two individuals that I have in mind right now that will tell it like it is and let you know the state of affairs of the economy, especially in America and everything else. Okay, and they'll tell you, look, man, America's out of there. All right. So that's just all I wanted to read from there. And it's not just them, but you have many other economists that are, letting it be known, look, if this happens, this will be the deal. So therefore, they would be in a state of mind of trembling because what they're seeing is that the world is crumbling apart. As well as we're giving these lessons out there and we're speaking right now, as I'm going to now say, is we're transitioning from one world to the next world. And our world is about to be. And that's all I got to say with this. Once again, giving all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rikah HaKodash, and double honor to the elder apostles of the great millstone that have taught as well, and to include the elder bishops. And salute to all of the brothers worldwide that's pushing this truth. Shalom.